Now, you're a scientist. Do you have any advice for a believer interested in pursuing a career or studies in the scientific community? What advice would you give?
Do it.
Do it.
I think it's very important that we have people actually active in the sciences. And if God has given you a mind to do science and a feeling you should do it, the vastly important thing is to realize that you can do it for the Lord.
Mm.
All of my life, I have watched as people divide Christians up into two. There are those who are in so-called full-time work, and there are the rest of them who pay for the so-called full-time workers. That is a completely unbiblical notion. God calls people to do various things. And when people say to me, you ought to be in full-time work, I say to them, you're far too late. And they say, oh, it's never too late. I said, you don't understand. I've been in full-time work since I've been 20 years old. Part of it is being a husband, part of it a father, part of it being a mathematician, part of it a Bible teacher, part of it the intellectual defense of the Christian gospel. And what we need to do as Christians to get it into our heads that whatever we do as unto the Lord. And that's what makes life so fulfilling. Mm. There is huge danger in this attitude. Oh, I just do this job to make as a tent maker. Mm. That's not good enough. Paul was a professional tent maker, and he used his profession to actually finance his own team and gospel work. So what I say to people is, God could call you to anything. He could call you to spend most of your time as a missionary or teaching scripture. But if he calls you to be a scientist, don't despise that, because you have a credibility in the world that other people do not have. Yeah. And it's one of the reasons I've stuck with science. It's opened so many doors for me throughout life that I'd never have got through had I been in some other direction. And what is important for each of us, I think, is to decide the question before the Lord and not just give in to pressure of someone who says, oh, you're a bright Christian, you ought to go into, quotes, full-time ministry. That, to my mind, is very dangerous, and it's not biblical. I've been in full-time Christian ministry all my life, but I've done several jobs. Why not?